Hey everyone, welcome back to another awesome webinar with Dr. Jacqueline Montoya. I'm so grateful for her coming back on a second time to talk to me and also you and community members about what's going on right now with the COVID. I'm so grateful that she's taking the time to take this time to talk to us and educate us properly on what's going on, how from a doctor's perspective we can be informed on what we can do to stay safe. Dr. Jacqueline Montoya is a double board certified emergency medical critical care physician who has always believed in using alternative treatments to assist the body in healing and caring for itself. And for those of you located in Palm Beach County, she's also a medical marijuana doctor. So, Dr. Montoya, I'm really grateful that you're here today. Thank you so much for taking this time to talk to me.
Thanks for having me. It's such a great opportunity. Obviously, I have a lot of love for the CBD community and definitely want to be able to share whatever knowledge. And, I think there's a lot of gaps, that are missing. So I'm happy to share and discuss whatever we can and really educate the community. That's really the most important thing. And I know you guys at CBD How that's really your priority. So in these times when we're dealing with something so unique to the whole world, I think it's important to continue to gain that knowledge as we get it. And every day, every week, we're learning more and more. So that's exciting.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So, from just get started from being a doctor on the front lines. Can you share with us your experience as what you're going through on a day-to-day basis, so people have an understanding of like what's really going on at hospitals right now?
Yeah. So, it depends on what area you're in. Obviously, every area is getting hit at different times. And a lot of that has depended on how quickly they went into lockdown or into stay at home. And I think that's made a difference in each community, as well as the infrastructure. So, obviously, big cities that have big buildings where people are congregated in closed spaces, it was easier for the virus to spread, as we're seeing in New York City, and that really makes a difference. So I think now that most of the country has been told to stay at home, even though it's not really being mandated but recommended. I think that people are understanding the severity of the disease and are doing their part to stay home. So I think that's made a difference, and that'll make a difference in how busy the hospitals get here in the next few weeks. And really, the goal of the stay at home was to get people to, keep away from each other, obviously not congregating and spreading the virus rapidly. And that I think hopefully we'll achieve it. I mean, that's the goal. And I want everyone to feel confident that they're staying at home and that it's working. And so, one of the things we've seen in my community is that the amount of hospitalizations has gone down because obviously people are staying home now. They're not going to the hospital unless they really need to. So we're seeing that. And then obviously we're starting to see an increase in the coronavirus patients. And really that keeps everybody safe. People who need to be in the hospital are in the hospital. And we're able to take care of those that really need it the most. And that's the priority.
That's awesome. So, is there anything that we can do to make your life easier as a doctor? I know my mom's a nurse, and so anything that we can do to help you all be safer or any resources that you may need, is there anything that from a community standpoint that we can do?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, like a person that's out going to shop doesn't need an N95 mask. I mean, gloves, as I think a lot of people do things that make them feel secure and safe, but just washing your hands is really all you need to be doing. And so those N95 masks are respirator masks, and they really need to be preserved for people like me and like others, the firefighters, the EMS, even some police officers that may come in closer contact with aerosolized from patients that are positive with COVID-19. And so I think just the education in that sense, is important because us as healthcare workers, we are running low on those type of supplies in hopes that we'll continue to get it. But to be honest with you, you served in the military and you know that if you don't have the correct equipment, you don't feel safe in protecting others. And, that fear leads to mistakes, and we need people to be on their A game. We need them to be at the top, feeling safe and ready to protect those and take care of those that really need it right now. So I think that's important, just keeping in mind that a simple face mask is sufficient to keep you safe, while you're out, if you ever have to go out shopping or whatever you need to do, if you need to be around people. But those of us that are going to come in contact with direct aerosolized particles are really at risk and need those N95s and need protective equipment. So that's really, I think, the biggest thing that I've noticed in the community is just that lack of education and understanding.
So thank you. That's so true. Experience the same thing with the military. We want to make sure that when we do readiness, that we prepare, we have all the equipment necessary, especially now that one of the Navy ships is in New York. So it's important that we let people know, don't be hoarding things that doctors and cops and firefighters they need compared to us who just at home sitting on. So I have a question. From a doctor's perspective, is there anything that we can do to at least mitigate the damage, whether it's drinking more water, being more healthy? Is there any tips that you can offer to us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that the same things that you do during flu season are kind of, come into play here. I mean, obviously, this is a more virulent and novel virus, and it spreads a lot quicker. So that's, the biggest challenge that we're seeing. But I would take those same precautions. It's staying well hydrated. Eating healthy. Avoiding things that you should be avoiding anyway, right? Smoking cigarettes, increased alcohol, anything that's going to suppress your immune system. So I think stress is a huge one. And, right now we really need to prioritize self care, not just the medical community, but those of us at home, because the increased stress level is definitely there. Many people are losing their jobs. They don't know if they're going to go back to a job or, and the stressors of that is incredible. So I think, really thinking in that positive aspect, where could I do from this? How can I learn from this? How can I grow? Or maybe just even be in this moment today and, keeping that in mind, because the increased stress levels are definitely going to decrease your immunity. And that's important. Obviously, the hand washing and all those other things are really important. Don't touch your face. I mean, I sit with my colleagues sometime and I will count how many times they touch their face, and it's pretty incredible. So that's really important. A lot of people, one of the things that I do personally is, and I do this during flu season or any time that I feel like I'm getting a scratchy throat or, a runny nose. I do take an extra amount of vitamin C. I think that's important. It definitely helps the immune system. And really just taking like a multivitamin and making sure that you're eating healthy and staying hydrated.
Thank you. So I only have one more question, and I know that a lot of those who are watching this later will not forgive me from the asking, but is there any way taking CBD or someone who's taking CBD, is there anything they have to worry about when it comes to the COVID, or is there anybody actually saying, hey, maybe take less or take more? We know that from some of the research I've done that right now, some of them say not take any THC, like smoking. But is there anything from a doctor's perspective when it comes to hemp and CBD that you have any advice on?
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously you want the virus is so virulent in the lung tissue that you really do want to try to avoid any irritants that may cause any worsening problems in your lungs, right? So I do think that if you can find alternative ways, that would be probably more safe during these times. But I think, using CBD is going to help. Such an important product in self care. I mean, I definitely use it. I'm sleeping well at night because I work, for example, worked 6 hours this morning and I'll go back for a night shift tonight. And so working these heavy hours, I need to get rest and I need to sleep. So if I take a nice little hour long nap, I take my CBD, and CBD definitely has a lot of immune protective properties as well, as we're learning with the research. So I think if you use it as a supplement and it's a part of your day-to-day life, I think you're definitely probably going to need more of it during these times where our stress levels are high. I personally don't suffer from a lot of anxiety. And I think that these are anxiety driven times for all of us. And using CBD for me definitely is something that helps. And I think that any of the community that understands that should feel safe taking their CBD as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you take these few minutes. I know you have to work tonight, so I'm really grateful that you're just take this time. I want to let everybody know that they can find you at greenmedmd.com or at Dr. Jackie, JACKY_FIT on Instagram. It's Dr. Jacqueline Montoya. Thank you so much for
Thank
just
you so
taking the
much. It's
time.
always a pleasure. And anytime, if you want to do it again, I'd be happy to do it. I'm always up for educating.
Thank you so much. I really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thanks. Talk to you later, Bevon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
There are those that said your pain isn't real. Too slow. Too hard. Too soft. Too old. Too limited. To them, we say too bad. Everyone deserves good and clean CBD products.